Hi guys, so today we are looking at lower back, a bit of mobility just to try and encourage some more movement there, people feeling a bit stiff, and then a little bit of strength and accessory work to help stabilise it as well. General principles, just movement will help. Sounds ridiculous, but rotational work, leaning, stretching. If you sit still or constantly sitting all day and you try and avoid strengthening it because of the pain or the instability there, chances are you're just going to make it worse. If it's so bad that you need to go see a physio or doctor, please do. I'm not trying to diagnose or for pain prescriptions here. I'm just trying to offer general advice what will help avoid injuries or reduce a little bit of pain and your risk of it. So, first one, you're going to need something to sit on and elevate your arse cheeks slightly. Doesn't matter what it is, you can use cushions if you want. I'm going to use yoga blocks, and then we're going to come out into a straddle. So, in the past, those of you who have done the straddle and have struggled to get any movement in your lower back, that hinge forward, this should help. Right? It should be a much easier position for you to start getting a bit of a lean and bring that centre of gravity forward. If you already find that quite comfortable, so you can get quite low, your chest quite low to the floor already, without elevating, great, awesome. Just drop back down or look at the previous videos from last week to build your other progressions up. For now, this is what I'm going to focus on. And all we're going to work on is lifting up through the chest as much as we can and trying to get a little pelvic tilt backwards as we bring the chest forwards. Alright? So we're trying to get that separation between the upper and lower body. I'm just driving the hips back slightly and then keeping the core tight as we hinge through. We're not trying to fold and just collapse. We're trying to lift the chest and extend it down throughout so we can get that movement in our lower back. Right? It's a really easy way to start encouraging that movement. What we find is a lot of people in this position go to move and simply have nothing at the bottom of the back here. So they'll go to move and it's just dead stiff. They can't quite get that extension and drop through the lower back. Right? That's what we're trying to encourage. If you get that movement there, it's going to release a lot of tension for you in that back. Second one, for now I want to use a wall, but if you guys can, use a door frame. Alright? So you're going to wrap your hands around the side of the door frame, extend through, and then just stretch yourselves out, nice big reach. If you can, put one foot behind and then press away. So we're trying to get right into that QL, right down the bottom part of your lower back, down the sides. Although it's not direct lower back, if there is too much tension here or weakness, that obviously gets mistaken, it can get mistaken as tension. It can create a lot of pain and referred pain into your lower back. So most of you probably will feel quite a nice stretch here, but switching that foot through and then getting that reach is going to feel really, really good. And you've got to try and get that rotation and leg extension into the hip. So I'm also trying to push my hip that way as well as my bottom shoulder through. Alright? And it should start to open up nicely for you down there. I'll suggest on that one, going for time, once you find the right position and intensity for you, so it might take a little bit of a play. It works on the wall, but if you can get a grip, it'll just give you that bit more solid foundation to really leverage yourself in there. I'll suggest going for time, alright, once you find the right position. Strength work. You can use the work we used for the posterior chain or earlier, so the previous video. That will really help. The ones we're going to focus on today is regressing back, looking at the hollow body. So one that anyone can focus on is just quite simply squeezing the arm nice and tight, rounding the hips up, and then from there just lifting the shoulders and squeezing tight, holding, right? You've got to get that bum slightly off the floor, start locking nice and tight, squeezing, and the shoulders up. So if your back is really bad, it's an easy one that you can do and just hold to maintain. The other one is breath work. So focusing on your breathing and actually getting your diaphragm stimulated and moving properly. Take your arms behind your head. Breathing in through your stomach. Out through your stomach, nice deep breaths. And driving right through into the floor as much as you possibly can. Alright? Once your lungs are empty, hold for 5 seconds. and repeat about 8 times. Getting that breath through your stomach and getting that diaphragm moving will make a big difference to the shape of your rib cage and spine, lower back. Right? It can play a massive influence in relieving tension and pressure in your back and body in general. Anything to hold the body is great. So leave yourself stretched out, lower back flat on the floor. You should not be able to get a hand on your lower back. That should be getting driven down and squished. If you can't keep your back flat, just regress the exercise to a more tucked position, or like we just did with the feet on the floor, up to there. It's not, ladies, that your arse is too big. It's quite simply that you haven't built up that shape and strength yet, or got used to the movements. What we're going to focus on for today is a couple of isometrics in the side plank. So again, that QL that we've just focused on stretching out, we want to try and strengthen as much as possible. The more strength we can build there, we can generate core stiffness. So if you have had an injury in the past, in your back and your spine, maybe herniated disc or something like that, fair enough, you might not get it fully repaired, so you always have that bit of scar tissue there. But what we can do is generate stiffness around the rest of the core to take tension away from it. Really easy way of doing that is side planks. So start off, easiest progression, you want your knee and elbow in a line. And we're going to work on driving up. What we don't want to do is just come to flat, alright? We want to make sure shoulder and elbow are stacked, so we're not too far away and we're not too far under. We want to be a nice straight line. So if we held our top hand up from our top finger right through to the elbow, is straight. And we're going to lift. And we want to make sure under here our hips are forward in a straight line, and we actually drive up so that underside is almost getting a nice curve in it. Right, so we've got that active drive constantly for full hold. From there, we can work on locking the legs out, lifting up, again not to flat or drop. We want to lift the hips as high as we can into that active drive. Alright, and hold. Keep resetting if you need to. The final variation we can work on is from straight arm. Alright, you can have your hand facing straight, pointing straight, or twisted slightly backwards. Whichever you go for, the principles are the same. We want to make sure that shoulder's driving into the floor and pushing through slightly, alright? So not just relaxing and collapsing. We want to keep that locking nice and strong. Get your feet set, hips not bent, driving them forward and up towards the ceiling as high as we can. Alright, still getting that slight curve underneath and that big lift. We just want to keep that isometric as much as possible. Feels comfortable, you start adding leg lifts, dips and lifts, or whichever variations you might want to have a play with. But we're just trying to now work on really getting that curve on the inside and that active drive up for the pinch. From there, the other exercise we can work on to build up that QL strength, dead simple. So lie, a nice straight line, as straight as you can get. Keep your arm out for support. If you want, you can put one hand on the floor as well to build that base. And again, we're just going to go for an isometric hold. So it's a static hold. We're just going to lift the legs as high as we can, keep the shape as straight as we can, and hold. 10 seconds. As high as you can. You're not going to get all the way up if you're fully on your side. If you're curved, or you lose your shape, your legs will go much higher. If you keep right on that hip in a nice straight line, you're not going to get very far. You feel a really weird cramp right in your love handles here. Feels great. And then relax. 5 reps, about 5 and 10 second hold. It's going to start making a big difference to that strength and help you generate a lot more core stiffness throughout your lifts and movement in general. Alright? Just getting used to doing something that we don't normally do, or trying to tune in those finer details of the exercises. Sweet. Have a go, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.